Well, thank you very much, Midi, for the introduction. And a big thank you to the conference organizers for sending me the invitation to deliver a talk and a UX training workshop, which is tomorrow, by the way. For those who don't know and may be interested, I'm going to deliver a workshop on measurement of UX, and we're going to discuss about methods, metrics, and tools. So if you still have time to register, I will be glad to see you tomorrow as well. Well, the truth is that I have been enjoying every second being here with you today, and I am sincere about that. And I love the fact that I have been fully covered, let's say, by prior speakers. As Amol said, it's very interesting always to see these different kind of perspectives from different people with different backgrounds. But at the end, we see some common patterns. Many of us say the same things with different words. And if you allow me, I have to say a big thank you to Michael, Jay, Jenny, especially to you, because I think that you have pointed out very strongly my main message from my own presentation, which is about the value of user or UX research. So I think that I could easily abandon the stage after you guys. But OK, I will stay here and deliver my talk. Why am I having this interaction problem regarding the slides? Usability problem.
Yeah.
It's OK? Thank you. Well, when I received the invitation, the first thing that came into my mind regarding what is the issue, I mean, what should I choose, what is the topic of my talk, it was naturally the first thing, because I'm a UX researcher, and actually an old one, because I have started my career as UX researcher back in 1999. When I was starting my PhD on usability evaluation. Back then, we were talking a lot about usability evaluation. And later on, we started to use more intensively the term UX and UX evaluation. And the first thing that came into my mind, it was my basic concern, my burning question, which is about the problems and the challenges of UX research. Because we see that although it is a very big issue, very important issue, and I think that already the other talkers have made it very clearly, we think that there is a huge problem currently to provide more UX research to new teams, to new startups, to companies who want to embrace this UX thing. And most of the times, I will see you later on, what our experiences are like when we try to promote and deliver UX services, UX research services. Well, firstly, let me give you a very short introduction about what UX research is. Well, this is a systematic focus, actually, a systematic study on users, their problems, their needs, their goals, their motivations, their prior experiences, and their expectations. So UX research is about this systematic study on all these things. And in addition to that, it is about defining the context of use, which is so much important. And in addition to that, it is about defining and framing, let's say, the main problem that we are trying to solve by using technology. I mean, we're building sites, applications, platforms, wearables. But why we are doing this? We're supposed to deliver technology in order to solve specific, real human problems, right? So UX research has another goal as well. We have to be able to research deeply in order to define what is the problem. So it comes pretty clear if we keep talking about it that the UX research thing, it's quite important, and actually it is the main body of the iceberg, not the tip of the iceberg. And I like this quote from Hoa Loranger, who is the vice president of Nielsen and Norman Group. And Hoa says that UX without user research or UX research is not UX. And this is a quote that we love. Personally, I'm always talking about that. Okay, but what is the problem? These quotes are real, believe me. We have been in many situations where, in many projects, where we're trying to employ and do UX research, and we keep hearing this kind of statements. Oh, that's good, but we don't have time for that. Or we don't have budget for that. It's maybe too expensive. We don't have enough money. Or, you know, as others have said before, users do not know what they want. So we know better. Why to do UX research and spend so much time and money? Real quotes. Some other guys who are more, let's say, polite, they keep telling us that, oh, this is a very interesting issue, but you know, we cannot do it right now, but we will do it, we will consider it to do it next time, okay? And guess what? Next time never comes or rarely comes. So I guess that I'm sure that many of you who deliver UX services, UX research services within your companies or to other companies, I'm sure that you have been exposed to behaviors or statements like this one. So I guess that there is a huge problem over here. I have highlighted some big problems and issues. I know that this could be, you know, this is a long story. We could be talking for hours. I have just tried to highlight some specific big problems and challenges and some simple ideas, some simple tips how to overcome them. These are, you know, according to my humble experience, and in addition to that, I tried to do a desk research. I mean, I searched a little bit on the web, found some reports and some excerpts from interviews from other UX colleagues who have already answered and discussed this kind of topic. So, the first thing, the first problem, understanding what UX is, when to use it, how to use it. For many people out there, UX is very new. And especially the part of UX research, it gets quite hard for them to understand or to digest. And, well, actually, it's not their fault. As a new thing, there are many myths and many misconceptions about it. And I have to say that when trying to be or to learn to be a UX researcher, you have to learn many methods, tools, methodologies. It's not that easy. So I have to be frank with this. And And this is a big problem that we have to deal with. The second one, although I put it as a second, I think that this is the most important and toughest problem right now. How to get the buy-in, let's say, from top management in order to do the proper UX research that is needed. Usually, our colleagues, the guys from top management, either they don't know about it very well, and as I said, there are many myths and misconceptions that makes the whole thing even harder, and most of the times, you know, they have the tendency to see it as cost and time. And another aspect that we have seen so far is that many of them believe that, what is this UX research? We do already market research. Isn't it more or less the same? We have been here this thing a lot of times. The third issue, how to communicate the value of user research. And I have to say that this is mostly our fault. I mean UX researchers' fault, because we try to put a lot of stuff, a lot of information in our deliverables, and sometimes we have a very hard time to put all the things in an easy and digestible way for others to see and understand what is an actionable outcome out of the UX research. The fourth problem is about quantification, how we can quantify the output of the UX research. Let me say that in academic world, there is a debate, a strong debate, whether we should quantify the UX, because many researchers, well-respected researchers, believe that the whole concept of user experience is qualitative in nature, and that we shouldn't attempt to quantify it. But this is for the academics. In the industry, as you already know, it is important to quantify, to be able to quantify the output of UX research. As I said before, we're having a hard time to get the buy-in from top management, and top management needs numbers, needs quantitative data. Not only quantitative, but quantitative here is very, very important. Now, moving on with the problems. How to incorporate research practices into the correct UX process. Of course, there is no correct UX process. As Michael said, no matter how you call it, service design, design thinking, human-centered design, agile UX, you have a specific way of doing things, you have a specific way of doing UX design and research, so there is no an absolute correct process. It's a matter of what suits your company and your business goals. And then you can find out how to incorporate specific research activities into your own UX process. Another issue, which is quite tough, how to communicate and better collaborate with designers. When I started my career as a UX researcher, I thought that designers, and when I say designers, I mean, you know, my colleagues who come from a background of graphic design, okay? Not from a research or human-computer interaction background. Well, when I started, I thought that the whole situation between the collaboration between us would be an ideal one, that we should be together as one. We should work as twins, because actually design and research it covers the whole spectrum of what we say in UX. But in reality, we see that there are many problems. Many times, it is very hard for us to communicate our results in a clear way. Other times, many colleagues, designers, tend to have a hard time, you know, when they see numbers on when we say we are going to do a usability test. And we see many times that they are reluctant to do it. So there is a problem over there, and it is a tough issue that we should tackle. The next one is closely related to the previous one. It's about mentoring our colleagues. I'm talking as a UX researcher, as I said, mentoring my designers' colleagues in specific research methods that are easy to do and perform on their own. And another issue that my research has pointed out is lack of money for tools and how to recruit participants for user testings and things like that. Okay, this is a simple list of common problems in adopting and doing UX research. Now, let's go to some simple tips and ideas. First of all, let me say, please, that I'm not a magician. I don't have a magic wand. I don't have any perfect solution over here. It's just some simple ideas and tips how to try to overcome, and this is a process, learning by doing. There are no golden solutions. The first thing, I think, is very important to promote UX research within the organization. We have to be like, let's say, evangelists of UX and UX research. And to do this, it is very important to appoint specific persons as internal UX champions. Most of the times, we get better and we get more serious about things when we feel ownership for something, right? That's the issue about appointing specific internal champions. Another issue, it is very important to conduct in a regular basis internal design and evaluation workshops. When I say workshops, I think that I have been covered a lot by prior speakers, and Michael before told us about the customer journey mapping workshop, which is a great workshop. I totally suggest that you should start doing a customer journey mapping session. It's a great workshop, not only because of the technical knowledge that it will give you, but as a side benefit, these kind of sessions, these kind of workshops help teams to bond, to strengthen their relationships, and to build better soft skills like empathy, like collaboration, like problem solving. All these are very important. And of course, in relation to the above, we have to try to educate our colleagues. If we have a specific way of doing research, the best thing that we can do is to educate our colleagues, to explain to them what is our way of doing research. So research should not be a black box. And of course, to teach some or mentor some colleagues to do specific and easy research activities like doing a user interview or doing a simple usability testing. These are quite important, and believe me, it's not that hard to learn. Now, another tip, but I'm sure that you all know, regardless of your way of doing and developing software, no matter if it is waterfall or agile or anything else, I think that we could produce software and incorporate research in every stage early in a project. As Jay said, if we do this, assumptions will be removed early. And if assumptions will be removed early, we will increase our possibilities for success and decrease the possibilities for failures and wasted time of development. Lack of budget, no time. Well, we could use some guerrilla UX research methods. I think Jay has also mentioned about it. Thank you, Jay. Although I have to say that I like guerrilla research methods. They are methods that you can easily, fastly, and rapidly do UX research. For instance, conducting research in public spaces, metro, cafes, on the road, shopping centers. Another way of doing this, thank God we have an abundance of tools. We could easily employ specific tools and run remote and unmoderated studies. I think Jenny has given us a nice example of how to perform remote research and design activities. And of course, employ early low-fidelity prototypes in order to speed up the whole process, even paper-based prototypes. Okay, but I should say that please beware, this is not a panacea. I mean, guerrilla research methods are fine, but it is fine for you to start with this. It is fine for a small company, it is fine for a startup, it is fine for a company that wants to do the first step into this magical world of UX research. But when you go through this phase, please give it the full UX research, give it a chance, and employ the fully fledged research methods. Get buy-in for UX research. The best thing that we could do is to have a research plan. And when I say research plan, I know it might sound a little bit weird. As Tomer Sharon says, we could do it in one page. A nice structure, an easy structure, how to deliver a one-page research document. If we do this, believe me, it's more easy than it sounds. If we do this, we get the attention of the top management. At least we increase our possibilities to get the attention we want, to get the time we want, to get the money we want. So, in order to get their buy-in, we have to deliver our research plan, and we have to make stakeholders get involved early. For instance, first thing when you start a new project or a redesign project, run a kickoff with stakeholders or get them involved in a usability testing session in order for themselves to see how users interact with the product. Make the connection about the UX and ROI. I know that this is quite hard. I will skip it right now in order to be able to complete my talk, but I will be happy to discuss with you outside. Communicate UX research. Some very simple ideas, some very simple tips. Know the audience that you are talking to. I mean, if you are talking to a top management, please use numbers, please, and be brief and use numbers. They want quantitative data most of the times. When you talk to designers, use qualitative data. I mean, talk to them about design and usability problems, interaction problems, not numbers. Use a lot of videos that show users interacting with the products, not text, or use some text but less texts. Include user quotes. This is very, very important, and this helps us to build empathy. We should try to avoid lengthy research reports. I'm talking to myself as well, because I tend to produce some lengthy research reports many times. And to this relation, I mean, we have to value speed over documentation. We usually love documentation as UX researchers, but if we think a little bit in more agile way, we will value more the speed and less the lengthy reports and the lengthy presentations and things like that. So, that's the end. To do or not to do UX research? Well, I hope that it is clear to all of us that this is a rhetorical question. Of course, we are going to do UX research because a good project requires UX research. The real decision here is when to do it and how to do it. Thank you very much.